welcome back into another episode of Arsenal Fan Circle. And this is the podcast that you cannot do without. Pre-game warm-up for the Liverpool game, and anticipation is starting to build here. Um, Definitely starting to feel the butterflies as we get closer to the weekend, and something that we're all looking forward to seeing is it's a top of the table clash between Arsenal and Liverpool, and something that we haven't seen since the first few years that I started supporting Arsenal. And yeah, it's really taken me back to my early years of supporting Arsenal. Those are the years when um, Arsenal and Liverpool would fight it out for the title. Um, just getting sort of butterflies in my stomach now just talking about it. And I've just been looking at the first big game that myself as an Arsenal supporter had was the Little Woods Cup final in 1987. A young Arsenal team under George Graham taking on a mighty Liverpool team. Back in those days, had Craig Johnson, Ray Howden, Steve McMahon, uh, Ian Rush, Stevie Nicol, all those household names who were um, winning leagues every year, and we would know later in that decade that Liverpool would win the league in 1990, and that has actually been the last time the Liverpool has won the league is 1990. So they themselves have been waiting something like what is it, 29 years right now, maybe 30 years pretty soon. So they're going to be very, very amped up to win the league this year. But what can we do? What can we do against this Liverpool team? We're traveling to Anfield and we were beaten last season 5-1 in what was probably one of our worst performances ever. Worst performances ever under Unai Emery, and things just didn't go right for us. We were ravaged by injuries last December when we played them at Anfield, and we are looking for a different game come Saturday. Now, Liverpool has not started the season very, very well, but like us, they have won the last two games. So that's not to be sniffed at. Um, they did struggle a little bit against Southampton, and they have lost their keeper, Allison. And people have been saying on social media that if Liverpool lose, it's down to losing Allison. Well, take a look at our injuries right now. We have three first teamers, three players who would play in the back four are out injured right now. We have Hector Bellerin, as we know, our right back. Kieran Tierney, who's going to come into that left back position when he's fit again, and Rob Holding, who was probably our best defender last season. And you take those three players out of a back four, and you really don't have a very good defensive setup at all. So let's not complain, though. We're going to move forward and we're going to play Liverpool on Saturday. Now, what should we expect? I, for one, don't know what to expect from Unai Emery. And until he settles down into the season with the players that are injured coming back into the team, we're not really going to know what Unai Emery is going to do. I'm a little bit worried that he's going to revert to a back three, and I think that's a very, very dangerous thing to do against this Liverpool team. I think we need to fight fire with fire. Now, I will give you my predicted lineup that I would use on Saturday, and I would go with a back four. And that back four pretty much picked itself from last week. Ainsley Maitland-Niles. Some people said he had a difficult game. I thought he did quite well and was able to move the ball forward and give us something going forward as well. And he did knuckle down to the task in the end. So I thought Ainsley Maitland-Niles played quite well last weekend. Now, albeit he's going to be up against a very different team this weekend. But and left back, I would play Monreal, and then I would play David Luiz and Socrates. So no surprises there. But I would pick a back four. I'm a little bit worried that Unai Emery is going to pick a back three, and I hope that's not the case because I think we're inviting on too much pressure if we do that. Now you could say the fullbacks would bomb on and give the Liverpool fullback something to think about. I'm just a little bit disappointed that we don't have Tierney, Bellerin, or Holding to play this game. But likewise, Liverpool does not have Alisson. So in midfield, I would go with Guendouzi, Willock, and Torreira, who played very, very well last weekend as well. So I would maintain that triumvirate right there. And Danny Ceballos, who was man of the match last weekend, I would reinstate him back into the midfield as well. Now that leaves me. That puts four in midfield. I would play the two strikers up top then, Lacazette and Aubameyang, and I think we are going to see Pepe at some point, but I would not start him. Personally speaking, I would not start him. I know that Unai Emery has been talking about possibly starting Pepe, but I think that's just newspaper talk. And I think we're going to start with Lacazette and Aubameyang, with Ceballos feeding them, and we are probably going to try to start uh, and be defensively sound and bring ourselves into the game and not make it a shootout, as it were. But that Liverpool team is very formidable, and they are 3 or 4 seasons ahead of us right now in their progression. So they're the finished article, and we are not. We were not able to play the ball out from the back very, very well last weekend, and I really hope that we don't try to do that against the press from Salah, Mane, and Firmino. So that's something we cannot do. I think we are quite good in pressing their defenders. So I would look for us to probably kick the ball a little bit longer and for David Luiz to try some long balls as well, which a lot of the teams are probably not prepared for, at least in the early part of the season. So, but my prediction would be, and I know a lot of you have collaborated with Cannon Fodder TV um, and have put your predictions in. And a lot of you have been hopeful. A lot of you can't bring yourselves to think about a defeat. And a lot of you have went for the draw or went for a hopeful win. I really, really can't see it as much as I would. I'm really going to love to be wrong, but my prediction would be that we lose. So I think we're going to lose on Saturday, and we're going to lose by 2 goals to 1. So there you have it. That's my prediction. I think we will score a goal, but I also think that Liverpool are too far ahead of us playing at Anfield right now, and they will just have too much for us now. That is just a predicted score challenge. The collaboration that we're having, this Arsenal fan circle channel are having with our friends over at Cannon Fodder TV. So, but I really, really would hope to be proven wrong. And I am excited for the game, and I do have the butterflies, and we just need to see what happens going forward from there. Um, Now, recent tussles between Unai Emery and Jurgen Klopp. Now, they've played recently 3 times against each other, and going back as far as the Europa League final when Sevilla played Liverpool, and that is when Unai Emery beat Jurgen Klopp's Liverpool when they were early in their progression. Very similar to what happened to us on that fateful day back in May against Chelsea. So if we're following the Liverpool method or map. Um, and we're right on course, I suppose. Um, then the two recent other tussles were um, the league games last season. Obviously, we lost very badly at Anfield, 5-1, and we drew 1-1 at home at the Emirates, with Lacazette scoring that wonderful goal to level the score up at the Emirates. Now, moving forward, really, really hope that this team can start gelling and coming together very, very quickly. And so we move forward to Saturday, and hopefully we can get the win that we all want. Now, I wanted to mention as well that if you're new to the channel and you're watching this for the first time, please hit the subscriber button, hit the bell notification, and you'll be notified when a new video drops. I'm going to continue to do the this pre-game warm up for the actual game on Saturday. And I was talking to Gundon News earlier in the day and asking him um, what questions he has, and he asked me the question is, should we start with all the new guys? And like I said with my review of the team, I don't think we're going to start with all of the new guys. I think Danny Ceballos will play and I think David Luiz will start. But I do think Pepe will be held in reserve again, and I just do hope that we're in the game in the second half, as I think Unai Emery will set his stall out to be cagey and keep the game nice and tight. As long as the game can get into the second half where it's nice and tight, and we can see what happens. Um, we could possibly nick something out of this game, and that would be a great, great result. This is a great time to play Liverpool away from home. We have gotten 6 points from our start. It's been a very, very good start this season to the season. 2 wins from 2 games. We have one clean sheet, scored 3 goals, and conceded just the 1 goal. So we need to continue in that vein and cannot take a big defeat. Um, so we need to move forward with that, and hopefully, with the start that we've had, we can get a point or possibly a win from this game. So that is my predicted score. It is a 2-1 defeat. Unfortunately, I'm always optimistic, but I'm just looking at um, where we are in our progression, and we're not quite there in terms of being able to compete with Liverpool. So unfortunately, um, my prediction is a 2-1 defeat to Arsenal. I am very optimistic, and I hope I'm wrong about that. But we shall see what happens. I'm just going to stick around if anyone else is watching um, in the chat section. Send me a question, and I will absolutely answer it for you. I'm starting to do these pre-game warm-ups 48 hours before the game, and I'm doing them in a time zone which is helpful to America and Australia and Asia. Screen Boy 8, thanks for coming on. Yes, a 2-2 draw. Who do you think will get the goals, Screen Boy 8? And thank you for coming on into the chat section. So our strikers have started out very, very well this season. Obviously, Aubameyang's got 2 goals, and Lacazette's got the 1 goal. Do you think we're going to get more goals from midfield? And who do you think can step up and score for us uh, consistently? We probably need Willock. I think Willock can chip in with 8 to 10 goals this season. Ceballos too looks like he could get a few goals. Yeah, Aubameyang is always the first person on the sheet for Unai Emery. Um, I mean, I couldn't even think about us trying to sell Aubameyang this season, this transfer window, and I think that was not a great story. I think it wasn't a good story about Aubameyang possibly going to United. I don't think that was reality at all. Um, So this is a very important game for Unai Emery in his second season in charge. We're going to have to see. We're going to see how he uses the team moving forward, and if he can actually game plan for these bigger games versus Jurgen Klopp and Pep Guardiola. These are really going to be big games for Unai Emery as he tries to secure another year in his contract. So we really hope that we can compete against Liverpool on Saturday. It's going to be a great test for us, and hopefully we can come up on top with that. Um, do you have any questions for me, Screen Boy 8? Um, Who would you like to? Would you like to see a back three or a back four in this game, Screenboy 8? As I said earlier in this preview, I would probably go with a back four. I'm a little bit worried about playing a back three. We're going to invite those players on to us too much. Um, Salah, Firmino, and Mane. It's a little bit scary. But as Sonny said in the podcast on Sunday, they should be worried about us, and they should actually have to be game planning for us. Uh, yes, Green Boy. I went to see Arsenal this past season at the Brighton game, and previous season to that, I went to Arsene Wenger's last game, the Burnley at home game. We won 5-0, and then before that, the season before that was when we beat Manchester United 2-0. Jose Mourinho's Manchester United, they were going to the Europa final, and we beat them at home 2-0. One Granit Xhaka goal and a Danny Welbeck header in the late in the second half. So it's a really good experience to go to the Emirates. Um, the three times that I've been there, it's always been sort of takes your breath away a little bit as you um, go out onto the seating area and take your seats. And thank you for your predictions, Screenboy 8. We got you down as a 2-2 draw, and we shall see what happens at the weekend. Are you excited for the game? Um, I know I'm starting to get a little bit nervous and a little bit excited and a little bit nervous at the same time. Um, Also, look back at last weekend's results. It was a good weekend for us. We got off to a good start with 3 points on the Saturday, and most of the other teams dropped points. Manchester City dropped points. Um, Manchester City dropped points. Tottenham, the scum, dropped points, and Manchester United also dropped points at Wolves. And of course, Chelsea continued on their bad ways as well. Evening, y'all. Say thanks for coming in. Do appreciate it. I'm trying to do these shows 48 hours before the game and in the evening as well, so that we can have more exposure for people who are on the other side of the world, say Australia, Asia, or even late evening here on the east coast of America, or possibly on the west coast of America, where it's about 6 p.m. Um, and Screenboy says, hey, Yaltzi. So as I do this more and more every week and become less and less nervous doing it by myself and talking solo, um, we'll probably gain more and more viewership. And yeah, Screen Boy, I didn't expect you to be awake at 2 a.m. in the morning, but I do appreciate you coming on to help me out. I was about to wind things up, but I have to do it. I have to get on and keep talking. And yeah, I look like a fool or whatever, but I'm going to keep talking here. Uh, and at least give a little preview about what's going to happen at the weekend. So it was good. As like I was saying, it was good. Good week for us last week. We beat Burnley. I would have liked to have another goal because my prediction was 3-1, but we beat Burnley and other teams around us dropped points. So we are in second place behind Liverpool. We have a top of the table clash coming up on Saturday. How do you feel in Yelsey about the top of the table clash? I think you say in your comments there that you can't sleep. Is it because of Arsenal? So Yelsey, you think we should target third, but top four minimum for sure? I think the minimum should be top four for us this season. and I actually think we can safely get third. And fingers crossed things go well on Saturday. And even if they don't, I think we can challenge the top two as well and be close to them for a large part of the season. So, Screenboy, I really appreciate you being here with me, and Yalsi, of course, also. Um, that's what it's all about. Um, Interaction with fans all over the world. And I know Mahir, my co-host, would say the same thing. It's it's beautiful. That's why we got this YouTube channel going, so we could interact with fans all over the world. And I didn't think I would be reaching out to Scandinavian countries or indeed Europe or the UK. So Yalsi, you couldn't sleep. Screen Boy. YVW, you're very welcome. Thank you. Really appreciate the support here. Um, yeah, I've got to get myself um, talking, and sometimes I get caught up in ruts. So the channel is growing, and I'll get better and better as things go forward. And obviously, on Sunday, I've got people to bounce off of to keep talking and not get knotted up in useless conversation. Y'all see, it would be quite surprising if we can get an early run of months of games, challenging. Yeah. Um, if we could do something, everybody talked about 22 game unbeaten run last year, and we were overachieving. You take whatever points you can get whenever they come along. So even if we're beaten on Saturday, and it's going to be very, very difficult to go to Anfield. I've put my neck on the line. I've said that we will probably lose 2-1. I just don't think we're strong enough yet to go to Anfield, especially in the back. Without Tierney, without Holding, without Bellerin, we're not strong enough at the back. So we'll see what happens. But my prediction is a 2-1 defeat. I would love to be wrong. Love to be wrong. Okay, I'll see. So maybe I'm going to do this on the regular. Every week I'm going to do this. So if you want to be here 48 hours before the game. So if it's Sunday game, I'll do a Friday night. If it's Saturday game, I'll do a Thursday night. So come and join us. I do not expect all of you to be up at 2 a.m. every week. And Screen Boy, I do expect third or fourth too, Yahtzee. Um, Do you think we could push in one of the cup competitions, or are we kind of burned a little bit too much from what happened last year? I think our squad's a little bit stronger now that we could possibly juggle the league and the Europa League in the same way. Okay, y'all see your prediction, right? So you had said 2-1. Right, I'll put you down. Y'all see 2-1. We'll see what happens. It's going to be fun as the season goes on. Try and um, keep everybody's predicted scoreline in order here, and we'll see what happens. As long as we make them work for their goals and it's dignified. Yeah, see, that's the important thing. That is a very important point. Last season, we had a lot of injuries, and we went to Anfield not in the best shape. Torreira probably had one of his worst games ever. Probably feeling the effects of the not having a winter break, which he used to have when he was at Italy, and we sort of capitulated to a 5-1 defeat. One of Unai Emery's worst performances, and the team's one of worst performances. Um, we did have the trademark Salah dive, and I'm very much now that I'm talking about that, I'm very much curious if there will be any kind of action when VAR shows that the penalties are not penalties and the players actually dived, if there'll be any retrospective action because of VAR finding out players. I remember Salah just went down like a heap of bricks uh, last December when we played them. And Screenboy 8. Liverpool are unbeaten at home. Yes. Yeah, Screenboy, I saw your comments earlier this week. They're unbeaten at home for 2.5 years in the Premier League and are Euro champs. So we got to keep it real. Yeah, I agree with you, Screenboy, but being European champions, that means that they're there to be shot down. So why can't Arsenal do that? Why can't Arsenal shoot them down like maybe a West Ham would do if they go to Anfield and frustrate them, or a Leicester City go to Anfield and frustrate them? So they're there to be shot at, and that's one of the reasons also why I think we can compete. Um, Manchester City are the league champions. They're going to get the best from everybody, and Liverpool are European champions, and they're going to get the best from everybody. So we'll see what happens. Hopefully Arsenal can give it their best shot. And I've seen Danny Ceballos talking about that. We're gonna go to Anfield with no fear at all. Now, I don't like to predict Arsenal losing, and you know I'm the most optimistic person here. And but I do feel like Liverpool will come out on top. But I would love to be wrong. Love to be wrong. Yalti, I said Liverpool rarely draw at home. Firmino seems to. What is it about Firmino? He seems to have his best days against us. Um, that can happen. I was watching Sunny TV Unfiltered. If you have the opportunity to go over and watch that, they had Kevin Campbell on, and Kevin Campbell was talking about the teams that he loved to play against, and one of them was Crystal Palace back in the 90s. He always seemed to do well against them, and Firmino seems to do very well against us. Last season was very it was embarrassing, a 5-1 defeat. Uh, we sort of knew we weren't going to get anything. Screen Boy 8 from that game. Yaltzi. Well, Liverpool front three haven't started clicking like of old yet. Still trying to find form, but Mane is the current danger man. Yeah, they were like it was like they were in a daze versus Southampton last weekend, because they had to play the Super Cup where they played Chelsea. But I probably expect the fitness of both teams to be pretty high come Saturday, and we'll see what happens. Their defense as well has been shaky start this season. Yeah, I don't think Yossi. I don't think we're going to see anything like the Liverpool that we had last season. And I know Andrew, he was on the pod a few weeks ago. He makes a very valid point that Liverpool did so well that they're not going to hit those levels again this season. So they're going to lose a few points. They're not going to get 98, 99 points. And we should improve as well. So why can't the gap between Liverpool and Arsenal come down in terms of points? Now, the shaky defense and their second goalkeeper is playing, so fingers crossed indeed. Let's hope that we can build. Screenboy, would you like to see Pepe starting? Just previously, earlier in this pod, I was giving my predicted from my predicted lineup, and it is as follows: Leno on goal, Ainsley Maitland-Niles, Luis, Socrates, Monreal. I'd play four in the midfield: Guendouzi, Willock, Torreira, and Ceballos, and the two main men up front, Aubameyang and Lacazette, who will always have goals in them. So with Liverpool being shaky at the back and their second goalkeeper playing, I think we have to go for it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe Pepe has to start. Yeah, Yaltzi, you saw the goal he gave. He threw the ball or passed the ball right at the striker. Um, you certainly can't do that around Lacazette and Aubameyang. So if that happens, I'll be meat and drink to those two strikers. Let's see this one first. My heart versus my head in this game. It's okay to believe. It is okay to believe because a lot of things have happened. We have had a mad window. We've had the best window in the Premier League. Actually, I was surprised. Okay, Manchester United went out and got Wan Bissaka, and they got Lumphead Maguire, the Frankenstein. So they have definitely improved defensively, but I'm seeing a lot of draws from Manchester United. I'm seeing their strikers not being able to get enough goals to supplement their defense, so they're gonna get a lot of draws. I didn't see Manchester City improve too much. They bought a midfielder who's going to be very very good. Liverpool stood still. Chelsea obviously couldn't. So out of the top six or top four, we did the best business. And of course, we had two players snub Tottenham and come to us instead in Saliba and Ceballos. So very very happy that they know who the best team in London still is. Yeah, also you're still not convinced Emery knows his best 11 or his best system. Okay. Yeah, I'm a little bit worried that Unai Emery has talked before about having a chameleon team. That's just not good enough, in my opinion. He needs to settle in, and I think we need to give him a few weeks until all the players are fit and ready to go. I would say at least till middle of September, let's say, when we get Bellerin back, we get Holding back, and Kieran Tierney coming into the team. It's just a pity that we can't have those players going to Anfield so we would get a true reflection of how far we've come in this window. But very, very excited for the team moving forward. We will have to find out and wait and see what he does with his system. I think eventually he does like to play a 4-3-3, and with Pepe, Aubameyang, and Lacazette in the team, that's not a bad thing at all. And I'm not too worried about people saying that Aubameyang needs to play more forward. He can get enough goals from that left side attacking position. Okay, y'all see. So y'all see. You went with my same lineup. You would hold Pepe in reserve, and I think I would do that as well. Imagine the game is tied in the first half, and we get to the second half tying, or it's a close game. And then Unai Emery brings on Pepe with those Liverpool players that have been playing for 60 minutes. I, Pepe starting to do bits against Burnley, and he could do some damage on Saturday if he's fresh. Okay, you would go with Kolasinac from Monreal. I'm a little bit worried defensively, Yeltsin, about Kolasinac. I'm also worried that Unai Emery will go three at the back. So if he goes three at the back, Kolasinac will be in the left back position, and Monreal will be one of the centre backs. This is great. Loving all the comments. Thank you. Screenboy 8. Ceballos to start. I'm 50-50 whether to start Pepe or from the bench. Maybe I've just convinced you, imagining the Liverpool players getting tired into the second half. The game's tight. We're close. It's a draw, or we're not losing by too much, or we're indeed ahead. And we're able to bring Pepe on after about 62, 65 minutes and do a lot of damage in the last 25, 30 minutes of that game. If you imagine it could happen. Diamond midfield, exactly. I'll see. Yeah. Ceballos probing at the tip of that diamond. Uh, I put Torreira at the base of the diamond and let Guendouzi and Willock be energetic. And I think we could combat their midfield that way. Their midfield is very, very aggressive as well. And this is going to be really the first game that Arsenal would really be playing against Oxlade Chamberlain as well, because I saw the Ox come back um, and get back into the Liverpool side at the weekend. Our central midfield has been the difference for us lately. I wouldn't start Pepe, and I don't favour Aubameyang in the wing versus most of the fans. Okay, so you would probably like to play two up front, and we'll see how that works. Ideally, you know, let's would play Pepe in a maybe an offset winger position, and maybe somebody on the left side. I think that could work quite well when we get a Tierney into the side, Yelsey. That we don't need Aubameyang on the wing so much. He can play centrally alongside Lacazette and Tierney. I'm just salivating right now, imagining Tierney rampaging up the left hand side and doing a lot of damage. Central midfield has been the difference for us lately. Yeah, and I think Ceballos has been a big part of that. Screen boy, I totally agree about United strikers and Chelsea's ban. Champions League qualification is a must for Emery, and I'm 100% confident in him. Uh, I don't think Emery did anything wrong last season. Yes, there was times where tactically he was outplayed, but we picked up so many points because he was tactically good and he was able to switch things around at halftime, particularly at the beginning of the year, the first half of the year before Holding got injured. I think Holding getting injured was really the death knell to us, and I don't blame Emery for what happened last season. I blame the players. You can only put the players on the pitch, and they need to do what the coach wants them to do, and they need to go out there and take care of business. And they were found to be mentally not strong enough, especially away from home. Now we've answered that question going to Newcastle, won a game away from home, albeit against not a very good strike force in Newcastle. This will be a real test on Saturday. This will be a real test. But I do. I was confident last year that we would get top four. I'm even more confident after our window and the players that Emery has at his has available to him that we will be able to do it. And you know what? When David Luiz wants to leave Chelsea, now he may have been told he wasn't going to have too much playing time. But when David Luiz wants to leave Chelsea and come over to Arsenal, that tells you that we are the strongest team in London and we are the best team in London. And actually, the way we did our business this year was pretty darn good when you think about it. We used Edu's contacts to go out and get Martinelli from South America, and what think of this as a cascading effect, as a ripple. So it started with Martinelli, and then we went and got William Saliba, and we were negotiating for Tierney the whole time. And players around Europe saw this that we were going after Saliba, a very big talent um, with lots of potential, and we got him signed up, albeit he's being loaned back. Well, that sent a message out to everybody in Europe that Arsenal were starting to sign talent again, and it's a lot of it has to do with the previous manager as well, because Arsenal had that pedigree and history, uh, and these players grew up supporting Arsenal, and then we went and got we played Real Madrid, and we went and got Ceballos on loan. And then we did the biggest signing of the summer, I believe, in terms of, well, certainly in terms of money, Nicola Pepe. And all of these players could see something was starting to happen at Arsenal. And then we got over the line, we got Tierney and we got David Luiz. So these players know that something good is happening at Arsenal right now. Okay. I convinced you, Screen Boy 8. Thanks. Right, Pepe. Here we go. Yeltsin. Pepe would give them something to think about coming off the bench with his pace, for sure. And they're going to start with their three strikers. So whoever comes on after that, it's going to be an Origi or something like that. It's not going to be the same caliber as a Mane, Salah, or Firmino. Okay, Screen Boy, we convinced you. And this is the life of an Arsenal fan. I'm telling you. Um, we start out pessimistic. Oh, we're gonna play Liverpool. We're gonna get beaten again, and then by the end of the week, we're convinced we're gonna do something. And then match day comes, and we got the butterflies again. It's this is what the club does to us. It's a great thing. Yeah, I'll see. The reason I said Kolasinac over Monreal, if we were to play the four in midfield, we're going to need our fullbacks to provide the width on target. Yeah, Alexander side, let Kolasinac whip in crosses. Okay, yeah, we'll see what happens. I don't know what Unai Emery's going to do. And then Yeltsin, but yeah, I'm just like you. You don't favor him defensively, but I'm not for the sitting back and we counter stuff. Yeah, yeah. Uh, so with Monreal and Kolasinac, we've Unai Emery's had to deal with this for last season. If you could just mold the two, mesh the two of them together somehow, make a Frankenstein, Mon Mon Asalech, or Colreal. You ship their names together, but we couldn't do that. We have to take one or the other, an old experienced head who's better defending, or more of a. They call him the tank, but he's very bad defensively. You know. Yeah, I'll see. Ray, that fiasco at the end of the season. We took 1 point out of 12. And I don't know how many points we took out of those 8 games. Not a whole lot. It was I was optimistic. I was setting the table for Arsenal to do this. I was in February. I was like, we got to get through the Man City game away from home, get through the Spurs game, get through the United game. We got through the Spurs and United games very well, 4 points out of 6. And then I said, it's all plain sailing. Then we've got 8 games to go till the end of the season, and we should we should get top four. It didn't happen. Didn't happen. Honestly, believe if we wouldn't have prioritized Europe and rested key players, would have been the difference. And this is an ego thing, Yahtzee, I believe, for Unai Emery. He has won the Europa League 3 times. There is two other managers that have also won the Europa League 3 times. And I believe Unai Emery, in his own ego, he wanted to win the Europa League for a fourth time and hold that record. So he picked teams that kept us strong in Europe, but not strong in the league. He picked weakened teams. That team that went to Goodison Park was disgraceful. That team that went to Everton was disgraceful. We were never going to get anything out of that game. And to lose 1-0 to Everton was a pitiful result. And then to compound that with our home form, we'd been so good throughout the whole season at home. And to lose to Crystal Palace, and it's one of the reasons why Mustafi must be moved on. He cannot have another Crystal Palace performance this season. And then finally, Granit Xhaka, who I believe the coach has a lot of time for Granit Xhaka to concede that penalty at the Brighton game. I was at that game, and disgraceful. So I think it was down to Unai Emery's ego. Now, Screen Boy, hey, Cronkies put their money where their mouths are. I'm excited. Freaking awesome. Yep. Um, Josh Kroenke is the main man on Arsenal now, and I think it's a good thing because think about this. There was the couple that was Stan and Arsene, two very, very similar people. Stan never liked to say too much, and Arsene Wenger was always putting up some clouds, smoke and mirrors. He would never really call out people. He'd take everything on his shoulders, and was stubborn in a lot of ways and did not want the club to modernize in many, many ways. So Stan, who'd never liked to say too much, and his passion is the LA Rams and building that stadium over there. But we have a new regime now. We have lots of new positions, younger people coming into the organization. And this is what the Cronkies have done. I know from the LA Rams that they have younger management. They have injected young people into our organization. They're doing the same thing with Arsenal. We are doing bits with Raul and Edu, and especially, and Unai Emery. And we have Josh Kroenke now. And Josh Kroenke is more open to talking to the supporters. I think that's a very, very good thing. Uh, we have moved on from Arsene Wenger, who was tight-lipped about everything. Stan Kroenke, who wouldn't say anything about the club, whether he loved the club or not. And I think it's just been a good thing. It's just opened things up. And I think that Raul has done wonders with the money that they had available this season. And of course, all of those payments, it's 140 million if you stack it all up, but it's amortized over the life of their contract. So we've probably spent 30 or 40 million, something close to 30 or 40 million in reality this past window. But I think it's a great thing that Josh is now coming forward. A lot of supporters still do not believe that he's invested that deeply in the club, but we shall see what happens. Like he said in the most recent interview, trust is something that's built over time. So we'll see what happens. So I think that's Yalci crying over me shipping Monreal and Kolasinac together. Monasinic or Conreal or something like that. Hey, I'm glad I'm keeping you guys happy here. So that's funny. The hybrid left back. All right, now here's a question, Screen Boy. Do you want to maybe attempt to answer this one as well? Could either of you tell me Emery's philosophy? So first and foremost, Emery's philosophy. Well, we need to get the players in place to do this. Is to play out from the back. He wants the team to do that. I believe he wants to play with a back four. So those are the first two things. Play out from the back. Our goalkeeper is good at that. We need to find fullbacks, or we need our fullbacks to be better at that. We don't know how Tierney is with that. So this is going to be a progression. Maybe we won't really be able to play out from the back really, really well until next season when we have Saliba and maybe an Up Meccano or something like that. So he wants to play four at the back. And from that point forward, I'm not quite sure what he wants to do. I actually believe he wants to play three in midfield and obviously the three guys up front as well. But his philosophy is to play out from the back. And I think the philosophy from Edu will be to play the football that Arsenal has always played. Is good football, good attacking football. Other than his closing players down and high attacking setup, I think he's still sussing things out in the Premier League. Screenboy, I think he will have learned a lot from last season, um, understanding the pace of the Premiership and all of that. We have players that are will be world class, some that are world class right now, and some that will be world class in a few years. So it's very exciting for me to think about what we've done this season. We started off slowly, but I think we can gain pace as the season goes on. I think Pepe will become more and more important to the team, more and more integrated. And Ceballos, um, let's just play out the season with him and see what happens. But I'm very excited. David Luiz is going to help us defensively. We lost 51 goals last season. We, I think we were on course for losing 40 something goals, and that's improvement. If we only concede 10 goals less than we did last season, we're going to pick up 4 or 5 more points than we did last season. And if we score more goals than we did last season, which we should do, we're going to pick up 4 or 5 more points already. I think we're going to be close to the high 70s in terms of our points finish. Yahtzee, apart from him, want to play out for the back and press and defensive transition. Our build-up is non-existent. We were under so much pressure versus Burnley, trying to play out the back countless times. No variety. Yeah, we don't have the players that are able to do it, so we're messing around at the back a little bit. I'm very, very surprised we haven't been pickpocketed a couple of times, and that may actually happen this season. But yeah, we tried to play off from the back, but then they're really just clearing the ball from the penalty box, and it's going not even to midfield. So it's going to be um, something that we need to improve on. Yes, and the playing out from the back, which draws the opposition out. Something that we could probably do with that screen, boy, is when we're being pressed, hit the long ball with David Luiz, and that hopefully will back off the press. You can see David Luiz spraying a ball out to Aubameyang last weekend that he almost got onto the end of. So we'll see what happens with that. Watch that for the Liverpool game, the press and how Arsenal might be able to evade the press. Yahtzee, is that it? What about structure or transition, the way the midfield should move off the ball? Why do our wingers go to the ball rather than holding the width and occupying opposition fullbacks? So I think our wingers are inside wingers, if you know what I mean. So Pepe's inside right, so he's not going to hug the touchline. He's going to be playing on the shoulder of that last defender. And Lille played last year with great transition in their game. They were able to counterattack a lot of times, and able to get the ball into Pepe's feet. But it was always on the inside right, sort of level with the edge of the box, right there, not on the sideline, not like an Overmars type of player. Pepe is more of a quick transitional player, and that's how he's going to get a few more goals as well. I'm interested to see who's going to take the penalties as well, because Pepe did take penalties last season. Cruyff, the best to do is move away from the ball. I see everyone go inside and go to it, which makes it easier to defend against us. Yeah. Uh, yeah, but to me, that's just long ball for the sake of abusing his pace. Yeah, but if everybody's been used to playing against Arsenal over the years, and we played tippy tappy football and short passes, why can't we vary it a little bit with the player that we have? David Luiz has got that in his locker, and I think it's going to loosen up the press, so we won't be possibly under as much pressure as we would be at Anfield. So I think it's going to be very important. We come inside too early though. Right. I got you, Elsie. Um, Listen, let's see what happens. Let's wind it up here. Been going an hour. I did lose my train of thought a little bit just as you guys were coming in. So great timing. Really, really appreciate it. The one funny thing we can take from this podcast is the shipping of Monreal and Kolasinac. I'll be laughing to myself a little bit about that, even after the pod here. Right. Yaltzi, thanks. You should watch the Monday Night Football analysis with Henri explaining Pep philosophy on how wingers should move and when to tucking into early results, the defense no longer being stretched. There's something I particularly watched Pep and the first game of last season, Unai Emery's first game of last season. They controlled that game so much. They won 2-0 in the end when they played us at the Emirates. But what they did was they got the goal that they needed through Raheem Sterling. And then they sort of like controlled the game so much. It was like a pressure cooker. They were able to release the pressure that we were giving them and control the ball. And then they hit us with a second goal. And I was very impressed with Manchester City that day. Now, everything comes in cycles, and we're going to get stronger. I expect Liverpool not to be as strong as last season. I expect Manchester City not to be as strong as last season because look what happened to them last weekend. They're by no means great either. Now, if we can get a little bit defensively stronger and score a few more goals, um, do away with our deficiencies so much, and accentuate our talents, which is going forward and scoring goals, we can get more points, and we can be. Let's have a title challenge. Let's have the media talking about us rather than Tottenham. We want to be the darlings of the media, but there's too many Tottenham boys um, involved in the media. Yeah, David Luiz sort of had command. He looks like he's in command at the back, right there. And if for no other reason, Screen Boy, he is talking to other defenders and putting them into positions. Louis is still not convinced on though. He is a stopgap for a year. Obviously, he's a stopgap until Saliba comes back. Yeah, Chambers didn't deserve dropping, but you know what? This is the strength of the team. Isn't it a good thing to have a Callum Chambers sitting on the bench that you know can do a job for us? Isn't it a good thing that we're not seeing the likes of Mustafi and later in the season Mkhitaryan or El Nani sitting on the bench and things are not going well for us? And you're thinking, who can we bring on? We've got nothing on the bench. So it's a good thing that Colin Chambers played well, and it's a good thing that he's there. He will get games, he will get time, he will get minutes. Yaltzi, I'm honestly thinking I'm dropping Socrates and having two comfortable passers in Louise and Chambers. Something I'm looking forward to seeing as well now. Socrates, he walks that tight line. Um, he gets yellow cards. He will pick up his suspension here and there. But I'm very happy that Unai Emery has a little bit of confidence in Chambers as well. And I was worried that he didn't have that confidence in Chambers. But I do believe he's pretty much written off Mustafi this season. So Mustafi's got, I'm looking in the calendar right now, he's got the guts of 2 weeks to find himself a club. And I believe there's 5 or 6 clubs looking for Mustafi. And hopefully, as I said in a video that I did, hopefully he's going to go to Roma. Bellerin and Tierney and holding back soon though. And can you imagine our defense? Okay, maybe you put David Luiz with those 3 guys at the back. Pair them with Bern Leno, who is pretty secure as a goalkeeper. I would like to see him to be a little bit more commanding when it comes to crosses. But Bern Leno is a very, very good goalkeeper that can only improve over time. And you pair Hector Bellerin and Kieran Tierney with Holding and David Luiz and put Joe Willock, who I haven't talked about yet. Joe Willock, somebody who I'm excited to see on Saturday, because that's going to be an important game for him. I hope he plays a simple game in the sense that he doesn't let the occasion overcome him. And I hope he plays a simple game, keeps it simple, and plays very, very well, obviously. But excited for those three to come back. Yeah, I agree with you. I'll say they are both overly aggressive, and we don't know how this refereeing environment is going to play out, how VAR is going to play out, but hopefully they can survive in this the new regulations of the game. Already, we're seeing some of the regulations being flouted. I think it was the Manchester City game where players, when they're coming off as a substitute, they're supposed to exit at the nearest point of the pitch and walk around. They're coming off the pitch just like they did last season. Exactly right. Chambers is a good player, so I have no problem advocating Chambers for Socrates sometimes. We would just have to see how that partnership works with David Luiz. Screen Boy, I'm sorry. Also, not at home, not away from home, and not in a game of this magnitude. Um, really believe Ozil away from home, he will be playing mid-table teams and below. That he will get games in away from home. I don't see Ozil playing very, very many games away from home versus the top six. Um, he's one of the players that I believe Emery doesn't have faith in either. And we have Ceballos right now, who is doing things in midfield alongside Joe Willock and Torreira and Guendouzi. Yeah, I agree with you, Elsie. And I think Screen Boy, I believe, also he rarely performs away from home. It's been probably 2.5, 3 years since I had faith in Ozil away from home, and it's something he's not up for. And the team has been there, has been built around him, but he's not the type player that can just take a game by the scruff of its neck and play. And that's what Arsenal needs. So a few more final comments. This is supposed to be a short podcast, but whenever there are subscribers or viewers, I am here to talk. Yaltzi, also, I don't believe will feature that much anyway this season. He may start Europa games at the odd home lower table league match, or he will even feature away from home in some games like Bournemouth. Um, some games that are not too physical as well. So I agree with you. And you know, Ozil has to now think of his safety. It's a very, very serious thing that happened to him. The media did not help in advertising where he lives and showing pictures outside of his house. So it's something Ozil has to consider very, very seriously. Yahtzee, I don't believe Xhaka should get back in the starting 11 either. I think Emery at least found the right balance, at least mobility in midfield. And I think we should probably see Xhaka on the bench on Saturday. And but I certainly would welcome Guendouzi and Willock for their mobility and energy in midfield. Yeah, I agree with you. Xhaka against people like Henderson, no, it's just not would be recipe for disaster. So we're going to see the starting lineup on Saturday, and I think a lot of what we'll do on Saturday will be dependent on who Emery picks. And he has a team now. He has players who he can pick a team, and he should pick the right team for this game. And it should be players who are 100% fit. It should be players who are 100% committed, and should be players who have 100% mentality to play a game like this and determination to get something. Yeah, I saw that last week. Galaxy Lee Judge just had a word with him though, so I think we should be all good. But listen, I'm gonna let both of you try to get some sleep. Are you working tomorrow, both of you? I didn't want to keep. I don't want to keep you any longer, and it's been going for an hour now. So I'm going to close out the show. But Xhaka passing has been like that back. But Xhaka passing has been like that back for Mönchengladbach, right? You know, Xhaka has been with us for a few seasons. We know who he is. Mustafi's been with us for 3 years. We know who he is. Mkhitaryan, we know who he is. Let's try some players that we don't know what they're all about. Let's try Willock. Let's try Ceballos. Let's try Pepe. Screen boy, be careful. We're going out. Be safe. Okay, I will wind it up here. If you are watching this, know that I'm going to do pre-game warm-ups 48 hours before the game uh, to reach out to subscribers and viewers from all over the world. Buzzing for Saturday, I'll say. Y'all see. Let's just hope we get out with a respectable performance. And that's the thing. That's what I'm looking for. A performance that is a lot better than 5-1 last season. You know, let's. I'm bubbling. I'm buzzing. I'm buzzing for it. If we can somehow convince ourselves that we can get a draw or better out of this, and it actually happens, I'll be on top of the world. You know. All right. Take care, Screen Boy. Take care, y'all. See. Be safe. Get some rest, and I will see you guys next week. Remember, podcasts on Sunday. Hope to see you guys there. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks for coming on. Really, really appreciate you guys. Until Saturday, come on, you Gunners, and everybody, get your predictions in. Put your predictions in the comments down below. Talk to you soon.